Why does this pullover smell so funny? Hey guys, it's Trixi, and today I want to talk to you about a problem that I have that kind of runs through my life like a golden thread. I suck at having friends. And by that I mean that I suck making friends, keeping them, and also being a friend at times. You know, it's a bit ironic because I receive so many mails where people tell me, "Oh, I wish you lived closer, then we could meet and become friends." Which is always flattering to me, but I'm also a bit like, you don't know what you're wishing for. Probably you would not enjoy meeting me in real life. The thing is, the person that you are in front of a camera, especially when your main channel has made it to 200k subscribers and you kind of found your style and your audience, is not necessarily the person that you are in real life. My online self is only part of me, but it's not entirely me. Quirky, happy, silly Trixie maybe makes a third of my personality. But that's not how I am all the time. So I understand that people want to meet me and imagine that I am a cool person, but they might be disappointed. And that's not only a low self-esteem from my side that makes me say that. It's based on experience. While having freaking 200k subscribers on YouTube, no clue how that happened, I'm not a person with many friends in real life, and I've never been. If anything, there was a positive development during the last years. But in general, I used to have problems finding friends. Finding them and keeping them and becoming something important to somebody else. It's not easy for me to talk about this. I'm kind of ashamed that this is who I am and I used to deny it. But it's true, and I hope that by sharing these very honest thoughts, I may find some people who are like me, so we can encourage each other. So let me tell you a bit about me and my troubles and the reasons that I've found for them so far, which concern various parts of my personality that developed during the years. You know, even though I said that I encountered this problem throughout my whole life, I think there have been very different reasons causing my struggles, depending on the life chapter that I was in. You know, I've always been a calm, quiet child. So my problems started as early as when I went to kindergarten. I was only 3 years old and already a bit odd. While the other kids played with toys and of course with one another, I was very kept to myself. Almost up to the extent that I think that I may have autism tendencies. I would sit at a table all by myself for hours and play with my own hands. I remember that I called this one Linky, lefty, and this one Rechty, righty, and I came up with stories for them. I wasn't bored or unhappy playing with my own fingers for hours, surrounded by toys and by other kids. And if somebody told me to stop or interact with the other children, I got annoyed. It simply wasn't what I wanted to do. Surprisingly, I still ended up having a couple of friends. And you know, the older I got, the more I opened up, but still I was never as open as the other kids. And all of that is a bit unusual, isn't it? But even in school, I was always kind of a loner. While others made friends for life, I didn't enjoy this whole socializing thing too much. As much as I enjoyed talking every now and then, I never had a problem with doing something for hours by myself. When I got home from school, I felt that my socializing meter was full and I was fine with being alone for the rest of the day. I could totally get lost in a calm, creative activity. That's how I discovered that I love writing, and my biggest dream up to this day is to become an author. I want to finish my novel and publish it. And in general, the things that I cared about most often involved imagination, creativity, and focus. Other people, not so much. Sure, we also had a dog, and I liked taking walks with a friend of mine who also had a dog. We had parties and sleepovers, but as much as these things were fun, they also exhausted me. And whenever I had a day with lots of social activities, I needed at least another day, or maybe 2 or 3, to feel ready for people again. I think something that caused this is that I'm an only child, and that the only family member I really ever cared about, or that really ever cared about me, is my mom. So even inside of my family, there was never this social net of people communicating. My stepfather that I grew up with barely ever spoke spoke to me. And even though I felt a very strange kind of love for him, our relationship was very cold and distant. So I basically learned at a very young age that I have to find something that I can do all by myself, quietly in my room. And I noticed that I liked that. Both my parents worked. My mom was the only one that spoke to me when I came home from school, but she had lots of things to do, so I was in my room doing my little Trixi stuff. Obviously, that did not make me a very social person. Every now and then my mom would push me to call one of my friends, and then we would do something on the afternoon, but that was always something I had to force myself to. As soon as I met my friends, I was another person and I enjoyed being with them. But getting out of this I wanna be alone bubble always took a lot from me. And I was always happy to be back inside the bubble when the social stuff was over. Because of that, class trips were always a nightmare for me. 1 week in France with all the people you go to school with. Oh yeah, kill me please. I hated that. Being social for a whole week straight, it's nothing I like. I remember thinking, like, on the first night, I wish I could stay in this room all by myself the whole time and just write my story while the others go to the Eiffel Tower, meet people, eat stuff, leave me some bread and water, and I'm gonna stay here the whole 7 days without interacting with anybody. That would have actually made me happy. And that is weird, isn't it? I mean, I'm usually careful with calling something weird because we are who we are and we shouldn't be ashamed of that. But there are so many disadvantages to this kind of personality that I have, and I'm tired of it. On the other hand, I kept trying and I just can't change who I am. Now, obviously, the question is, why is that? It's difficult to talk about this because what many people don't understand is that I'm not acting like this because I hate other people. I'm not thinking, people. It is pretty much the opposite. I envy people that are more social. I know that having a handful of friends can be better than having 100 friends, but I feel that I already struggle with keeping this handful that I have. I did not choose this. It's not the others. It's me, and I know that. And that's why I'm making this video, because I'm a little bit out of ideas what to do about that or how to feel better about myself. I already spoke about my childhood, which I think is a big influence. The fact that I was an only child, that our family is not very warm and pretty much a mess. And maybe also the fact that I was very young when I entered school. You know, wherever I went during all my life, I've pretty much been one of the youngest. When I entered school, when I finished my A-levels, when I started studying, when I had my first job, when I had my first child, I was always younger than the people that experienced the same thing, which I guess at least partly fed into these self-esteem problems that I'm facing. Oh, they are so much older, they have so much more experience. And I mean, it's not only that thought, it's actually a fact. I am now a completely other person than I was 5 years ago. So when I started studying with 19 years, my friends that were 25, they had already solidified their personalities. They had another understanding of life already. I was yet to figure out who I really wanted to be, and I always looked up to them thinking, whoa, these people really have their shit together. What's wrong with me? But now 8 years later, I totally see. I still understand why I was the way I was, but I'm also feeling like an idiot because I see what this must have looked like to them. So yeah, I think this kind of made things a bit more difficult for me. I just couldn't identify with them yet, couldn't relate to them yet. I now could, but it's too late. I'm not in contact with any of the people that I went to school with anymore. And I'm not in contact with anyone from my studies, which is a pity because a lot of them were awesome people. And I felt chemistry between us. I just wasn't ready yet. I was still too much of a child, of a teenager, too much influenced by my parents, by the patterns that I knew from school and also from my relationship that I had back then. You know, I'm not gonna go into too much detail because that's disrespectful, but the relationship that I had before Eric did definitely not help me build a healthy self-esteem and gather self-confidence. Not really his fault because, you know, no one forced me to stay in a relationship with him, but let's call it the circumstances. All these circumstances played into who I am right now. Pretty much a creative loner. Not only did I lose so many chances to find friends, I also lost this time to practice finding friends. I am the most untalented person in getting to know new people, appear somewhat likable. I don't know. Whenever I meet someone new, I'm like, don't mess this up. And then I mess it up. I'm way too anxious of being a burden to somebody else. Normally, when you meet somebody, you exchange numbers, and then on a nice day, you just give them a call and you slowly build the relationship. But I'm always so scared of asking somebody out, of the rejection, so I often push that away from me up to the day where it becomes awkward to even try to talk to that person again. I just think about that way too much, and then I miss the opportunity to actually do that. It's difficult for me to sum this up, to explain this to you. I suck at staying present in a person's mind. I suck at asking them out because I fear that they don't want to, because it's only me and I'm not worth their time. And even if we actually meet, I feel like such a numbnut all the time. Even if it's people that I know for a long time. I'm super nervous and so afraid to fail at making them have a good time. You know, when we meet, when I visit somebody or someone visits me, I always feel this pressure of, what am I gonna say? This came out wrong. I didn't offer something to drink yet. What could I ask? What's on the mind of this person? It's like I feel that the other person expects something from me, but I have no clue what it is. I want them to enjoy being with me so badly that my head becomes completely empty. And I'm just sitting there staring at them and smiling awkwardly. Obviously, that is not how you make friends. And usually afterwards, I'm always pretty disappointed by myself. I'm so happy to see this person and I have so many questions in my head, so many things I want to share. But then when this person is there, it's all gone, or I cannot get my point across the way that I wanted to. I start using weird words and then I get caught up in my own head thinking about stuff that are completely irrelevant to the situation. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's just a mess. Also, of course, now it's even more difficult because I have the 2 kids. So if somebody comes and visits me, or I visit somebody else with my 2 kids, the communication is always interrupted. I have to take care of them. Whenever I feel that I found a topic that I want to talk about and the conversation is, flowing, my daughter screams, "Mama, poo-poo!" And that was pretty much it again. So yeah. Did this video help anybody? Was I even somewhat making sense? Do you have problems like me? Do you have ideas? It's something that I'm really unhappy. I'm unhappy with myself because of that. Because deep in my heart, I know that I am a person that has a lot to share and a lot of love to give. I know that I can be a good friend. I'm a very honest person. I'm very respectful and I'm a good listener. And I think I can be fun as well. It's just that I cannot show that in the moment of truth. And that's really annoying. And it makes me self-conscious and it makes me lonely. So tell me what you think. Am I gonna publish this video? I don't even know. But maybe somebody sees that and he's gonna be like, hey, I thought Trixi was cool, but she's not. Now I feel a little bit better about myself because I know these problems too. Anyway, let's be there for each other and post what's on your mind in the comments. I'm gonna stop rambling now. I hope that you're having a great day, that you have a bit more self-confidence than this one here. Awesome friends that are there for you and that you are there for. And I don't remember how I started this sentence. And a good day. I hope you're having a good day. Hopefully after this, you're still gonna be subscribed to the channel. So see you in the next video. Socially awkward Trixi, over and out.